Oh, Papa, you did take care of us, Momore. Jesus, you do well, oh, you did take care of me, Momore. All right, on that melodious note, I want to welcome you to another edition of Head to Head, where we discuss on matters that matter. My name is Mr. Purpose International, for emphasis that we are global. From our local sphere of influence, we're touching lives all across the world. I'm the founder of the Purpose Discovery Academy, and tonight we will be discussing the script, the writer, and the business. I'm going to be joined shortly by one of Nigeria's finest script writers, who was formerly a biochemist. Yes, you heard that correctly. Today, she's one of the most sought after script writers in the Nollywood industry, and I even make bold to say in Bollywood, and I think soon to be Hollywood script writer. This young lady, I met her several years ago, I think over a decade, slightly over a decade, and her journey into the entertainment industry has been a revelation of the power of purpose discovery. So tonight we are going to be joined by this amazing scriptwriter who co-founded the Writers Inc. concept with her partner, who was also a dentist that switched into movie making when she found her purpose. So tonight I'm gonna wait a bit for more of our viewers to join in from wherever you are joining in from. We want to welcome you to Head, once again, brought to you by the Purpose Discovery Academy. My name is Mr. Purpose International, the founder of Africa's premier and leading purpose and self-discovery academy for teenagers and young people. Okay, so tonight, before we go too deep into the waters, I want to read a statement from the book of Psalms that is credited to one of the most enigmatic characters that walked through the earth. His name is David, King David, the son of Jesse. In Psalm 40, he revealed some truth that everybody that wants to fulfill destiny should know about. Said, then I said, here I am, I have come, it is written about me in the scroll, in the script. I desire to do your script, your will, oh my God, your law is within my heart. So David was establishing a life truth here, that for everyone that will come into this earth and live a great life, you must first find the script that has been written by God for you. Life is like a movie, and there is a script that has been written, and that is why we at the Purpose Center, we are the crusaders of this revelation, of this truth, that the best way to live life is to live life on purpose, for a purpose. And the purpose of God for your life is contained in a script. And what you have to do in this season, where we are even celebrating the death and resurrection of Jesus, is to find the script for your life. And tonight we are joined by an amazing young woman who has journeyed with God to birth the real idea that was in God's mind before she was conceived. So once you find purpose, once you find God's purpose for your life, it's like finding the script that God wrote for you to carry out. Okay? But one of the truths about purpose discovery is it's not mystical. It's not always going to be a spiritual assignment. It's not necessarily going to be a ministry where you become a preacher, an apostle, an evangelist in the fivefold ministry. It can be as interesting as playing a role for God in the entertainment industry. But whatever you want to spend the rest of your life doing, you must ensure that you are living life according to the script of the author of life. Because once you find what the author wrote about you in the script, that is, and then you begin to live it out, that is what will make you become an authority. Okay, so on that note, I want to just talk about the multiple intelligence theory before I bring in our guest tonight. The multiple intelligence theory. Okay, there's a theory propounded by a Christian psychologist who discovered that every human being has been given natural intelligence in certain areas. And why we emphasize purpose discovery, especially amongst teenagers, is to avoid going into the university or going into high school or college, and then you study a course that takes you off course. Studying a course that takes you off course. There are 8 multiple intelligence. There are 8 specific areas of intelligence where every human being can find natural expression of their greatness. The first is music smart. These are individuals who have what is called the gift of the ear. They are able to perceive sounds and make meaning out of sound. These are children that would excel naturally in music. There are other kids who are body smart, or it is also called body kinesthetic intelligence. These are individuals who would do exceptionally well naturally in the field of sports, gymnastics, any career path that requires using their body intelligently. They will excel naturally. Then there are some people who are people smart. These are people that will do greatly well in any career path or work that requires dealing with lots and lots of people. Okay, then I'll just stop here. I'll stop in the 5th one. There are people who are word smart. Word smart children are gifted with words. They have a natural flow, naturally excel when they are tasked with words. These are people that will become authors, script writers, preachers, masters of ceremony, any career or any industry that requires you being very dexterous with words. And our guest tonight falls into this category. And the last category are people who have logic smart children, logic smart people. These people naturally excel when you put them in front of numbers, or you put numbers in front of them. Their brains just pop up. It pops alive. And they would excel in career paths that requires numbers, accounting, becoming math teachers, engineers, anything that requires deep calculations. God has installed in every human being what will make each person excel naturally. I said all of this as a background because of the profile of our guest tonight. She has already joined in. Thank you so much, Mrs. Akinbode, Mrs. Bolade-Akinbode. Thank you so much for being part of Head to Head tonight. Now, her profile is very, very, very inspiring. So let me read it, then I'll bring her in and we'll start the conversation because we have so much to cover and limited time. Okay, TBA, as she's fondly called, Temitope Bolade-Akinbode, is an ardent, enthusiastic storyteller who believes she can change the world through her craft. A graduate of biochemistry from Olabisi Onabanjo University, she veered into entertainment and currently runs and co-owns a writing management company called Writers Inc. Concepts. That is the juice of this story. How did a biochemist veer into entertainment? It seems like a mystery, but we will unravel the mystery tonight. To her credit, uh, to her credit, they have written about 15 cinema movie titles like Mama Drama, Fine Wine, Cold Feet, In Line, and the very popular When Love Happens, and many more. All of these movies are actually very popular. Tokpa is the author of Walk on Water, a book about pain, betrayal, faith, hope, and romance. I was expecting that part of romance. And it's available for download on seller.co.com. So go to Seller and just type in Temitope Bolade-Akinbode. You will find her books there. She's also the author of A Twinkle Little Christmas, a collection of short stories with Christmas as its central theme. She is happily married. Okay, she's happily married to Mr. Bimbo Akinbode, and they are blessed with two amazing children, and they live in the city of Las Vegas, Lagos for now. Lagos, Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are joining us from, can you please put your hands together from anywhere you are watching from for our great guest tonight? Oh, wow.
Good evening.
Wow. Mrs. Tope Bolade-Akinbode. Can I call you TBA for short? TBA.
Yes, you can. It's fine. Good evening.
All right.
Mr.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How was your day today?
It was okay. It was okay. It was
The
okay.
typical day of a writer.
Yeah.
I want to guess you sleep with either a pen and a book beside your bed or your notepad beside your bed, so that if you wake up in the middle of the night and an idea pops out, you start writing.
Usually my phone. I use the notes on my phone.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. All right. So let's just get straight into it, because there's so much to hear. You know, you are a fascinating storyteller. I know a bit of your story personally, but the people watching tonight are wondering, how did a biochemist, a graduate in biochemistry, veer off? And today she's one of the most sought after, with her co-founder, sought after storyteller through script writing. So please tell us about your childhood and the hobbies you had as a teenage girl. Let's start from there.
Okay. Thank you for having me, Mr. Purpose. Let me just dive quickly into it. Like you said, we don't have time because I need to jump on another meeting by 9. So, as a child, I read a lot of books. For some reason, I've always just been a book reader. I love books. Enid Blyton. I read a lot of Enid Blyton. Is it Enid Blyton or Enid Blyton now? Books. She's a children. She writes children's books, right? She's an author of children's books, and I read a lot about books growing up. I attended Central Bank of Nigeria Primary School in Satellite Town.
Oh, CBN, Satellite Town.
Yes. And we had a very, very rich library. So I could go to the library, I could borrow books and bring them home. I was always I loved the smell of books. I loved being in the world of books. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. So one day, I taught my kid sister how to write books. And then one day, I saw her writing. And I asked her, what are you doing? She said she was writing. I said, writing what? She said she's writing a story. And I'm like, I don't understand. I taught this girl how to read. How is it possible that she's writing and I can't? So I was challenged. And I decided to write something as well. It took me years to finish the book, which is now what is A Walk on Water.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yes. Interesting.
I mean, I had multiple drafts. It wasn't A Walk on Water. Even the names of the characters changed, you know. And then I was writing. There were no laptops at the time. And so I would write scrap sheets. I would cancel. I would change it. I would adjust. until eventually, you know, it is what it is now. So yes, a Walk on Water is available on my store on Stella, like you said. So after that, I just realized, and then also growing up, my mom liked to watch a lot of films. She just loved watching films. At the time, we used to watch Yoruba movie. There was no
Yoruba
Nollywood
movies.
as we have it now. Yeah, so we had the Eastern films like Ineka the Pretty Serpent, like Living in Bondage,
Living in
films like that.
bondage.
Yes. And then we
Yeah.
had, you know, and we had the Yoruba film industry, the Ojoladipo Theatre, you know, yes. I'm sure some people are guessing my age now. So I kind of grew up on that. Grew up watching Checkmate. Grew up watching the new
Yeah.
Village
Mirror
Headmaster.
in the Sun.
Exactly, you know. And so it was just interesting. I liked to watch those films. And I grew up as a Muslim as well. So every time I go to the Arabic school during our break period, I would sit down with people. I would gist them about the films that I'd watched. And they were always telling me, like, as if they watched the film. Like, the way I would gist them, it always feels like, oh, I'm watching
They
this
were
film.
there.
So I guess inherently, I'd always had that flair. To be honest, I wanted to study law. I didn't want to do.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to a science class, but at the time, being a science student was the in thing, and I kind of got convinced and swayed that I should go to medicals. I should be a
Oh,
doctor. You know,
okay.
D, I see you. I love you. That's my
I
business
see,
partner.
I see your partner already giving you thumbs up.
So, at the time, my mom convinced me, go to a science class. You know, your daddy will be happy about it and all of that. I wanted to do law. I would have gone to an arts class if she had not had that conversation with me, to be honest. So yes, I blame my mother. But I went to a science class. I was doing okay. It was fine. It was okay. But I never gave up my love for films or for books. I always had that. And that's sort of how I went in the direction of the sciences. So I got to school. I wanted to go in for medicine, but I didn't get in for medicine. So I ended up studying biochemistry. There were opportunities for me to have switched from biochemistry to medical science, but I said no because I knew that I didn't have a flair for it. What I had a flair for was the arts. So I said, no, I'm not. I'm just going to do this 4 years, live with a good result, and go find myself, go do do what I want to do.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
So, yes. So, growing up as a teenager, I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of I watched a lot of TV shows on NTA at the time. So, films like Ruth and Raquel, what's the name of the Secrets of the Sands?
Secrets of the Sun.
No One But You.
No One But You. The Rich Also Cry.
Also Cry. Wild Rose. I grew up watching all
Lady
that.
and the Lady and the Rose or something like that. There was Wild Rose.
Yes.
There was.
Wild
Did you watch When You Were Mine? Wando Siesmea, Diego and Paloma.
And Diego, I did. So yes, I watched all those films. You know, yeah. When You're Mine, I did. I watched all of that, and those are the things that I did with my teenagers. I had friends who I would talk to about books. I would exchange books with. At the time, funny enough, I couldn't really afford to buy books on my own. So I read a lot of books, but I found that they were not books that I bought. I searched for those books. I couldn't see you with a book and not want to read it. And I was so, yes, and I'll tell you, give me one day, I'll return it the following day. Like, no matter how voluminous the books were, just give me a day. Borrow me this book, I'll return it. As I'm speaking to you, and I have favorite, authors. I think so far my favorite author is Sidney Sheldon. I've practically read all of his books. God rest his soul. All of his books, I've read them. So those were the things that I grew up doing, and then listening to music. I'm old school like that, but music were not really.
Street Boys, Michael Jackson.
But music, yeah, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all the oldies like that. But books, yes, I was very much involved with books and with film. So when I got into the university, I didn't take that opportunity. I I knew that I wanted to write. I'd taken my writing seriously, especially because when I became a Christian, I now joined the drama unit of the church. So, which was another thing that helped me service. So,
Okay.
joining the drama unit, serving in church, and then putting my skill and my ability to work for God. That's, to be honest, I think that that's what has gotten me this far.
This far.
Hearing God, yes, just following God's plan for my life, even though I might have deviated at some point, but then just following that God's plan. This is what I've called you to do. I want you to write. This is what I want. Yes.
Okay, just hold your thought there. Please hold your thought there. I was saying before you came online that for every individual, as funny as it may sound, there's a script that God already wrote for everybody to play out. And, I'm a Christian without apologies for those watching. You can find that in Psalm 40, verse 7, where David was saying, I come in the volume of the books, of the scroll of what is written of me to do. And as a purpose discovery coach over the years, we run into teenagers, especially teenagers, who tell us, this is what I'm feeling I should do, but my daddy or my mommy or my guardian, because they are the ones to pay my school fees, are telling me, no, go in this direction. What do you know about life? How old are you? And all of that. But from what you have said about your story, it plays out this principle that we teach, that the secret of each person's future is in their daily routine. So for you, at what point did you find your purpose? And you knew your name, that this is what is written in the script for my life. And then how did you find God's purpose for your life? When, and then how?
Okay. When would be in school?
University or secondary school?
University.
Okay.
That would be Sonobanjo University. I got into university. Jam was jamming me for some reason. I didn't know, like, not because I was not smart. Yeah. I don't know why, and I felt like maybe that's also all part of, I mean, I know that it's not like God wanted me to fail, but all things eventually work together for my good. Let me put it. So when I got into school, like I said, I was born into a Muslim home. I was a Muslim, but then when I got into school, I became a Christian. I became born again, and the question of purpose was something that had always been ringing in my head, even before I became a Christian. What am I called to do? Why am I here? What am I doing here?
Why am I here? Yes.
I had all those questions in my head and in my heart, and I guess God wanted to answer those questions. So when I became born again, I remember asking that question and thinking, why am I here? What am I doing? So when I became born again, I started looking for a Bible-believing fellowship, because we had fellowships in school then. I tried different fellowships, but somehow I just didn't connect. I didn't feel like I was home. So that day I was in my room, and then a housemate, came to tell me that, Winners Chapel just moved to somewhere around our hostel, and would I like to come so that we could go for their service, that they're having a special service. I said, okay, no problem. So I said yes. And then we went. The moment I walked in, I just knew that I was in the right place. I don't know how. I just had a knowing. It was a knowing. I don't know how to explain it. That this is the fellowship. This is the place that I've been looking for. I'm home. So immediately after that, again, I didn't know anything about, Christian principles or anything. I was agreeing on. I had absolutely no idea whatsoever. Yes. So when the pastor preached about service, I talked to myself, okay, maybe I will join a department, but I didn't know how to join a department. So the following day I went to school. I was in the pre-degree hall. There's a massive hall for all 100 level students. I think we had a general studies class that day. And then I sat down. It was a crowded hall, like very crowded hall. And then a young man walked up to me and said, hi, I'm an angel. And I'm like, excuse me. Long story short, he had introduced himself as an angel, started talking to me, he engaged me, and I thought it was weird. I all through the conversation, I kept thinking, is he really an angel? Because I mean, I've read books where they tell you angels come down. I
I don't know if
Really that
he's the one that just joined the conversation now. Angel Jolomi just joined. I don't know if he's the one.
no, it's not the one. His name is Adeleke. Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, his name is Adeleke Adeoshun. And anyway, later he introduced himself. He was actually a member of Winners as well. Amazingly, he was not just a member of Winners, he was a member of the drama unit. And it's just so amazing how on point that encounter was, because it was through him I now joined the department. It was through him I started speaking in tongues. It was through him that that I even joined a theater production in school and kind of started veering in that part of production and theater and screenwriting.
Wow.
Right. Yes. And later on, he would tell me that God instructed him to walk up to me in a crowded hall. That God instructed him to walk up to me and have a conversation with me. And he was going to not do it because if I go and meet her now, I hope she'll not start thinking. Yes, exactly. But he obeyed. And because he obeyed, I'm here today. Yes.
Wow.
And so I'm grateful for that. So,
He was an angel in human.
Truly,
he was an angel without wings.
Yes, an angel without wings. So afterwards, my relationship with God started growing. I started learning the things of the Spirit, started learning the principles of Christianity. And then one day I had a prayer time. This was like maybe 3 years later or 4, no, maybe 5 years later, because I did pre-degree and then we were on strike for like a whole year. And then 100, yes, and then 100 level, 200 level. It was when I was in my 300 level. So I'm saying 5 years later, thereabouts. I was in church, which was another because Osu, our campuses are different. So medical students are in Ikene and Shagam. So I'd left Agowe, which was where I met Adeleke. But Adeleke was also in my department. So we went to Ikene together. We went to Shagam together. Yes. So we were also attending Winners together in Ikene and Shagam. And there was a particular prayer, like a morning prayer. You just come into church, just pray. Nobody's talking to you. Nobody's preaching to you. It's just a quiet time with you and your Father. Nothing else. Very early in the morning. So that day, Leke and I think also, we went to church that early morning. He came to my house, came to call me, and then we went there together. And then when we got there, I sat in a corner and I started praying and talking. And then the Holy Spirit, I heard him clearly say to me, writing. At the time also, I was acting, actually. A lot of people in school know me as an actor. Yes. And I wanted to go into acting. I wanted to, because I felt like, actors were popular, actors were well known and all of that. But I heard God clearly say to me, writing is what I have called you to do. Clearly.
Wow.
Clearly.
Wow.
Yes.
You are one of the privileged few that heard the voice of God. Yeah, because we're in a generation of Christians who know the voice of Jay-Z, but they don't know the voice of Jesus. They know the voice of their favorite artist, but they don't know the voice of the one who created the universe, spoke it out. And it's such a sad truth that even amongst Christians, you find Christians telling you, I don't know what my purpose is. And that's why God instructed me exactly 2011. Yes, wow. 2011, I can never forget also, when God gave me all the purpose school courses one by one and showed me scriptures and said, you will teach people how to discover my purpose for their life. I said, wow, is it not easy? He said, but it took you 13 years to find it. So why can't you? And I was like, okay, but from what you are saying, you are somebody who obviously is yielded to following whatever you hear internally. I was going to ask, the next question I was going to ask you, you've actually answered it, but let me still ask, was what influenced your decision to start a professional script writing business, not join the bandwagon of, some people will hear God and act as if they never heard it because nobody was there with you. There's no there's no physical proof. Nobody can put a gun to your head that thing you heard, why are you not doing anything about it? You know, so it just shows that you are an Isaiah 119 Christian. You are willing and you are obedient. You know, and I don't want to go into politics, but that's the move. Okay, so at that time, was there any pressure from your parents when you were coming out of school, like go look for a regular job, start paying the bills and all of that? So how were you able to handle that pressure at that time?
Okay, so I mean, there was a lot of pressure. First of all, after I heard that, it was not all, I struggled with it a bit, and I struggled with it because I liked writing. There was no doubt about it, and I took my writing seriously. But I wanted to act. I wanted to be in front of the camera
In
because
front
I
of the
felt like, oh,
camera.
we make people like, who knows writers? At the time, writers were not popular. Writers, it was not
Celebrated, yeah.
celebrated profession, you know. So writing, why? Okay, is it echoing? Okay,
Okay, I think I can hear you clearly.
Okay, that's my end. That's fine. So
you can go ahead.
Okay. So at the time, you know, it was not celebrated, but I knew that I wasn't going to. When I finished school, what was popular was people who were either into banking, you either go into the banking sector because that was when banking now became very attractive. So you either go into the sector, or that was when also MTN, Glow, and all those telcos started.
Telecoms.
Representatives, right? So those were the popular profession that people, you know, were going for when they left school. And I knew that I wasn't going to do that. I just knew that banking and this other job is out of it. I had no idea what I wanted to do, to be honest, but I knew what I did not want to do. And
wow, powerful.
Right. Yes.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So I thought I didn't want to do, and I told myself I didn't apply, I didn't send CVs out, I didn't do any of those things because why? There's no point sending CVs to banks or any of those places when I know that I don't want to do this. Somewhere in my subconscious, I felt like 9 to 5 is just not for you. And I think I used to tell my friends that I'm not a 9 to 5 person. I don't see myself as a 9 to 5 person. I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do, but
you knew what you didn't want to do.
Yeah, but I knew what I didn't want to do. So when I left school, went for service and then came back, I was sort of like in limbo, to be honest, because it was not a case of, okay, you know what you don't want to do, but what do you want to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to make money? And yes, there was the pressure because my parents didn't get it. I came out with a 2-1, and
wow.
Yes. So what's the issue? Like, what's the problem? You know, all your mates are getting good jobs, getting good deals. What's the issue? They were trying to force me to get into government parastatals. Like, oh, they had friends. Like, government work is great, something, or you could apply here, but I just did not want. My sister was in the banking sector, but IT, right? And I was not interested. I just was not interested. So at the time, I had a friend, and he was running a company on the side. It was not his main job. He had his own company that he was running on the side. It was a brands firm. And so he just said, okay, just so that you're not at home doing nothing and not making money, come and work for me, you know, and then when you find yourself, when you know what you want to do, then you can, you know, decide how you want to go. But before that time, I'd volunteered at an HR consulting firm. I don't even know how I heard about it, but I know that I volunteered at an HR consultant. I had no idea about HR, absolutely no idea. Didn't know anything about HR, but I just didn't want to be at home, staying at home.
Idle.
Yeah. Being idle, because again, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes.
But looking back, I see how God also guided me to all these places because. So, quick story: the HR consulting firm that I went to at the time when I came back from my service, I had met one of my mentors in the industry now, Intl. I met him. I had written something. I showed it to him. He read it. He gave me feedback. He asked me. I told him, "Oh, I want to write." At that time, I accepted the fact that okay, this is what God has told me to do. Let me do it. And I told him, "Oh, I want to write." You know, he gave me some advice, and that was it. I didn't hear from him again, and I was not upset. And every time I tried to reach him, either his number was not reachable, or he wasn't picking, or he didn't respond to my messages, and it was fine. I didn't get upset. I didn't get angry. I just moved on with my life. And then I was looking for a church that I could attend because ever since I got born again, or since I became born again, I'd always attended Living Faith. So coming to Lagos and coming home, actually, I didn't. Living Faith was in Canaan land, and I know that there was no way my parents were going to allow me to be going to Canaan land because it was very, very far. And even to open my mouth and tell them that, yes, you know, like they knew that I'd converted, but to open my mouth and say that I was going to church at the time, like I didn't have the liver at the time. So I thought if I find somewhere around, it might be easier as opposed to trying to leave to go early every Sunday. So I started again once looking for a church to go to. So this HR consulting firm that I volunteered at, I met a guy, his name is Michael, and then we got talking, and then he was like, "Oh, you're very passionate about the entertainment industry." Like, we're just talking, and he saw the passion, the way that I was passionate about talking about the entertainment. And then he said to me, "My sister works at Intl. I will give you a number. Maybe you give her a call. Maybe she can help you, like, get you into the industry and all that." I was like, "Oh, fantastic." Intl was a big thing at the time. Still is, but at the time, I remember Intl. Yes, it's really, really big. So I collected a number. I gave her a call, and then she said to me, "I'm very busy. The only place you can see me is in church, except you come to church." You know. Wow.
God was using your passion to pull you into his house.
Yes. So I mean, all the story again, people can check it out on Writers Inc. page on YouTube, because Dietrich and I kind of did our different versions of how we met and then how we started the company. So they can check it out.
Okay, please give us before you go ahead, please can you just give us your YouTube channel? And Toby, please type it as she's saying it. Just type it in the comment section. Can you give us your YouTube channel so people can look it up?
I'm typing it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So I'm saying, so Writers in Concepts on YouTube.
Okay.
And so I called her. That's Joy Grant. Joy Ayegbeni.
Okay, she's now Joy Grant. Joy Ayegbeni back then.
And then I called her, and then she said, "Oh, the only place you can meet me is in church." So I went to church. To be honest, nothing exciting or great came out in terms of the entertainment industry, but I found my church.
Wow.
I found the place. Yes.
You found
that's how
home. The home of victorious people.
Yes, I found DCC, Davis Christian Center, and the same feeling that I had when I walked into Winners was the same feeling that I walked into Davis Christian Center.
I knew that. Sorry, let me interrupt you there. At this point, we're supposed to go for a commercial break, but we'll get there. It's such a great coincidence that Living Faith, Bishop David Oyedepo was the same ministry. Our Papa. For those watching, I also attend Davis Christian Center. We're just wired to win like that. All of us are just wired to be great people. It's the same ministry that Pastor Kingsley, our senior pastor, also got his, bettered his journey into ministry. It's like the DNA is just flowing down, and birthing great stories. Is like electricity. If you connect whatever you have in your house to the power source, if it's a TV you have, it will come on. If it's a fridge, a refrigerator, it comes on. If it's a phone you want to charge, it comes on. It's such a beautiful story of how God will call one man, maybe 45 years ago, and his obedience will have a ripple effect to affect thousands several years down the line. And your own obedience too, you might not even know, is also influencing millions, possibly millions, in fact, millions of people who have watched your story would not have been impacted. So at this point, I want to give you a round of applause. We want to appreciate you and applaud you because this is what I'm living for. I'm a crusader for this message of purpose. And I know it cost me my life at the beginning. I literally died, actually, to my personal plans, parental pressure, opinions of others. And God is just telling you, this is what you must do. It's not popular, but you have to do it. It doesn't look profitable, but you have to do it. Nobody is doing it. I didn't call everybody. I called you to do it. And that's why today we have something we do on our handle called Man Crush Monday, Woman Crush Monday. Okay. You're going to be on that page very soon on one of the Wednesdays. Because women we celebrate purpose icons, women who crushed popular opinion, who crushed emotion. The female is wired to be an emotional being, which is a strength, but you didn't allow the fear of what people will say. You're a very beautiful, pretty woman, but you would have gone in the way of the pretty faces that I don't want anything to affect my beauty. I cannot do without doing my hair. I can't go without, I can't go without my makeup. And wake up someday, you are 50 years old and you are far off God's best for, your life. So you stuck in the plan, and today we are celebrating your story. It's inspiring a lot of people. So there must have been some major challenges that you faced. I want you to talk about maybe one or two that were major and how you overcame them, especially when you started writing. There's always that issue at the beginning for pioneers on cash. Money is not yet coming in, but this is the path that I know God wants me to pursue a vision. So tell us about some of those major challenges. Then how did you break through to get your first paycheck as a writer? Because of time, we might need to, I wish we could do this for 2 hours, but so tell us your major challenges then your major breakthrough. How did your major breakthrough of cash come in for you as a professional writer?
Okay, so major challenges, like you said, for pioneers, for entrepreneurs, you start a business. Because when Dietrich and I, that's my business partner, when we started the business, Writers in Concept, it wasn't planned. Again, I don't want to go into that story. So if you check out our YouTube page on Writers in Concepts, you would, all of that was properly told there. And even how we started the business and all of that. And the truth is, it's been easy. Let me not say the other way. It's been easy, right? Being entrepreneurs, it's been easy because you make money, you invest, because there's a vision that you're seeing, there's a plan, there's a goal, there's a place that you're seeing, and you know that you're not there yet. So with every money that you even make, you're investing it back, and it looks like you're working so hard and there's very little income coming in. And the kind of pressure that puts in, especially because you're mothers with children. And yes, you have husbands who are amazing and very, very supportive. Thank God for husbands like that. Thank God for men who are wives, who are giving it their whole, cheering us on. Thank God for husbands like that. Because to be honest, if we didn't have husbands like that, I'm not sure that we would still be in this business. That's the truth. Wow. Yes, it's been kind of rough, but now things are
settling down.
Yes, things are really, really way better compared to when we first started. Like the first 6-7 Writers Inc. is now, I think, 8 years. This year, 8 years.
Wow.
But the first 6 years, 6 years, even parts of 7 was kind of, but here we are, and yes, and I believe
do you remember your first paid job? How did you get your first paid job?
My first paid job would be, so the first time I was paid for writing was in school, and it was a competition.
Oh, okay.
I was paid 5 naira. Yes, the First time that
5,000 naira.
yes.
I hope all the young people can hear this. 5,000 naira.
5,000 naira. It was a competition. In fact, I was given a check for the 5,000 naira and I had to go and cash it, right? Because it was a
Wow.
competition. After that, the next money that I was paid was 10,000 naira.
It started growing.
I started growing. 10,000 naira. In fact, after I was paid that 5,000 naira for a competition, I wrote a job for somebody and I think I wasn't paid. It was at 5,000 naira per episode, and I'm not sure that I was paid until like maybe a year or 2 years later before the person paid. Yes. At least the person paid. The person paid. Then after that 5,000, then the next job was 10,000, and then 15, and then 30, and then 100. 100. And it just sort of started improving. But the
Just kept
first,
growing. Wow.
because so it kept growing because I also kept growing. I kept making sure that I was better at everything that I was doing and that I was learning more about my craft, and I didn't just sit on my oars and feel like, oh, the way I was writing back the way that I write now, oh, definitely not. There's a huge difference. Went for training. We're always going for trainings, which is why also we have a training arm where we train other writers. If you want to, even if you don't know anything about writing, you just know that you would like to be a writer. We have a model, the beginner's model for that. So we run a training arm as well at Writers in Concept called the Writers Room.
Oh, yes.
So
I
hope.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. There's this popular story. I heard it through the grapevine. I've never asked you directly. Okay. But when you and DJ began to write for Soul Impact, right? I noticed it was like a complete makeover of the drama ministry then, of the delivery on stage. There was something different about it. And I had to ask St. Trimes back then, Solomon, I said, something is different about the I almost said movies, the stage ministration of Soul Impact these days. And he said, oh yes, that there are two people writing. I said, that's it. That their value is visible, that is so clear, that some people are doing the brain work and that people have begun to minister. But there's this story that I heard. I've never asked you that. Two of you now got a gig from, so I want you to tell us that story. And was that what birthed the vision to now start a co-owned writing firm, management business? And then just tell us that story in 5 minutes so that we learn from it.
At the time, I was working in church office. DJ was working at a dental clinic because she's a dental surgeon by profession.
Yeah, Dr. DJ, I remember.
And Joy came to meet me and said, oh, there's a director that just came into the country, wants to do a film. Do you have any rom-coms, like he wants to do a rom-com? Do you have any script or rom-com that you have? I said, no, I don't. Go and meet so person. Person who was in drama, but not quite as active. And the person was writing professionally for Intl at the time. So It was later on I found out that she went to meet DJ as well, and DJ told her exactly the same thing. Go and meet so person. I don't have anything. So she went to meet the person, took the person to the director. I think the person wrote a few pages. The director didn't like it. Then she came back to us. In fact, actually, I think she went to report us to Mama. I think she went to report us to Pastor Mildred. And then Mama now called us, yes. And so we sat down in her house. She said, oh yeah, start writing, all those things. So we wrote a few pages, sent it to the director. The director was like, this thing is way past my budget. So this opening scene alone is too much. I don't have the money for this, that. So he had an idea of what he wanted. He had a few, like how the beginning should be. And said, if we can take that beginning that he's giving us and then just walk off that, like he would like to see what we can come up with. So we said, okay, no problem. So Dicha and I, after we've been kickstarted, so by our Mama, we now took what he gave us and then sat down with it and then started work on it and sent him a few pages, maybe about 30 or 40 pages. and went our different, like, moved on. Only for him to respond later with, where is the rest of it? Like, rest of what? Because we did not take it seriously. We did not think that he was going to like it. We did not think that he was going to take it. I said, where is the rest of it? Say, rest of what? Where's the rest of the script? And I called the chair. I mean, the teacher that called me and said, let's finish this script. Let's finish this script too and send it in. So we got together again. The details, I'm trying to rush because of time. The details, like I said, on Writers English.
Okay, on your YouTube page.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was like what bettered the this business season for both of you writing together.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was how it started.
So everybody watching this video, if you want to see the full story, please go to their YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe before you watch the story. Don't watch the story and leave. Subscribe, leave a good comment, send it to your friends, because the secrets of great men and women are in their stories. And these are two of the finest storytellers. They are amazing, they are anointed, and they are rich. They are not broke. They are rich. So please go like and subscribe to their pages. Before we move on, I also want to advertise our 3 days virtual boot camp. We are going to help you in the month of May move from talent to business. There's a systematic and structured way you can transition from purpose discovery. Because once you find purpose, you will find a natural talent, something you are good at, that will help you fulfill that purpose. But we have a structured coaching program that is 3 days, intensive, 6 hours a day. We will school you, equip you, empower you, educate you, and then we'll hand you over to mentors after the 3 days that will help you transform your latent talent into potent skill. You heard what TBA said here. She interned, she served people during her beginning days. Because for you to be able to transform your talent to business, it must be tested on some platforms. What helped her was she was in a church department where their talents were being refined. It looked like you were working for free, but God was schooling you and developing you from that stage. Let me jump the questions to, you just wrote 4 amazing books. When I look at book titles, I begin to drool, because I'm also a very addicted reader. I love reading. So when I look at book titles, my imagination just sparks up. It's like an invitation to come and eat a sumptuous meal. So when I saw those 4 titles, I said, wow, Tope has done it again. Now in the area of books. A lot of people may not know that you're an amazing author. Okay? And way back in the Stone Ages in Africa, some men will frown when their wife comes out of the delivery room and is a baby girl, because they used to think that to preserve your family name, you need a male child. But I tell those kind of men that to preserve your name, whether you're a female or a male, all you have to do is to give birth to your brainchild or your brain children. And you did not do one. You are not Mama Ipeji. You are not Mama Ibeta. You gave birth to 4. So tell us about your journey into writing books. As in, tell us about these 4 books. What is inside these 4 books, and why should people go grab it? I see that you are doing a promo as well. So just quickly tell us about these 4 books.
Okay, so it's funny because I think I wrote the second book first, and that's fun. I wrote that first. Actually, I wrote that years ago. I don't know what, it was just a thought in my head that conceived the idea, and then I just started writing on my phone at the time. And after I finished it, I left it for years. I first published it on a blog, on a friend's blog. I had a meeting on a blog, and then after that, after I run the entire course, the 12, because each book has 12 chapters. They were not and all that. I moved on. I didn't do anything about it. Then, maybe about 2 years down the line, the Holy Spirit whispered in my heart, do a second book. do another book. This one is for married women. That's Anna's Thorn, the second book. So do a book for single women, right? Do a book about someone who's single, a girl who's single. And then I said, okay, interesting, no problem. So that's how Kewe's Dilemma was conceived. So I did Kewe's Dilemma, which is the first book. But I wrote it. Okay. I wrote that second, right? And that was the first one I wrote, then Kewe's Dilemma second. But in the book series, Kewe's Dilemma comes first, then Anna's Thorn second. So Kewe's Dilemma talks about a single lady who's dating a guy and then attracted to another guy, and it's a question of, is this totally or surgery? Who is it going to be, right? So that's Kewe's Dilemma. So the underlying themes, basically, most of the things that PK teaches us, to be honest. So the underlying theme for Kewe's Dilemma is single and confused. That's the underlying theme. For Anna's Thorn is about a married woman who's having issues with her husband because she thinks that her husband is having an affair. And so the underlying theme for that is married and conflicted. That's the underlying theme for Anna's Dilemma. Then the third one is for the side chick, which is Wonu's Nemesis. So,
wow.
Yeah, so kind of single, married, side chicks, or cockerel.
Wow, wow. It sounds so interesting already, and I am admonishing everybody who loves to read good books. You know, I'm a purpose mastery coach. I always talk about how to build your mind. One of the ways to build your mind is to read good books. One of the benefits of that, it increases your what I call word bank, your vocabulary, because you cannot fulfill purpose without developing your communication skills, and words are the raw materials you will use. Because we have limited time and I know you have to go, I'm looking for the question to ask. Okay, please give us some of the major accomplishments of Writers Inc. That's one, maybe in 30 seconds. Then what would you say to your the 16-year-old version of you? What advice would you give your 16-year-old self? And then your final words to female pioneers who are also at the stage you were at some years ago.
Accomplishments of writers, check our page, you see the accomplishments there. Let me know which kind of that.
Okay.
Advice I would give my 16-year-old self. That's the advice I would give my 16-year-old self.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
It's cracking a bit, but I can pick your words. I can still pick your words from.
Okay. Start early. That's the advice I would give my 16-year-old.
Oh, start early.
Yes. Start early. You know, don't waste time. You follow the path. I feel like in some ways I still wasted time. Wasted time doing what I wasn't supposed to do, like going for biochemistry. If I started early, focused early, you know, maybe the things that I'm doing now, I probably have done them like 10 years ago, right? So take opportunities, like don't take opportunities for granted.
For granted.
Opportunities that are before you, and this is to the female pioneers. When you see opportunities, take advantage of it. Ask questions. If you don't know something, ask questions. If you see, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
I can.
Yes, okay, so ask questions. If you see that, okay, this is the way people are doing it, why are they doing it? How are they doing it? What is the profit of doing it this way? And most importantly, rely on God. Let Him give you divine direction, because, you know, you might have all the ideas in the world, you might know all the things in the world, but there is a path. So there is a path that is before you. There is a path that has been set before you. You have your own path. Walk in your own path. So that's the advice that I would give.
Wow. Thank you so much. We're able to do this in 56 minutes. We have to let you go so that you can go prepare for your next meeting. Yeah. And by the way, for those watching, she's also a very committed, happy wife of a thriving husband, a mother of two, and she still combines all of these responsibilities to build a thriving business. I always say to young women that it's better to be a workaholic than to be an alcoholic. And a productive woman is more attractive than a seductive woman.
Yeah.
You know, we have a lot of nudity freely now on social media, even in parties. You can't even open your eyes in some weddings. You have to go blindfolded because of the values of these young women these days. So you are one of those women that younger girls should follow and imitate their life stories. So we'll look for another opportunity to bring you back again, maybe at a live conference, Believe Your Dreams conference or something. But this time around, it will be the one we're holding outside the country. We'll fly you and your partner down.
Amen.
And we will impact the world for Jesus. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. And we will keep seeing you at the very top of your industry. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you
good
for
night.
having me.
Good night.
Good
My
night.
love to your husband and your children. Thank you so much.
No
All right.
problem. Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the story in, I would say, in a rushed form. But if you want to see the detailed story of the way Mrs. Tope Bolade-Akinbode, how she has evolved from being a biochemist to becoming one of the most sought after script writers in the Nollywood industry today, then please go to their YouTube channel, Writers Inc. Concepts, or just check out her bio on Instagram at TB-Akinbode. I have good news for you if you are still on this call. On the 24th of May to the 27th of May, the Purpose Discovery Academy presents the 3 days live transforming virtual bootcamp themed Talent to Business. Talent to Business. It's our own business to help you convert your talent to lead to potent skill. And we have been doing this for 14 years now, so you are sure to get extreme value for your investment. Early bird discount ends on the 10th of May, but if you register between now and the 10th of May, you get to pay 25,000 naira and or $40. It depends on where you're registering from. 25,000 naira is the investment for residents of Nigeria, participants within the shores of Nigeria, and $40 if you're registering from outside the shores of Nigeria. Remember, it's virtual, so you can be part of this Talent to Business Bootcamp. And late registration, any registration from the 11th of May is for a token of 35,000 naira or $50. You can send me a DM if you need more details. Do not forget, the greatest tragedy in life is not death. Why? We are the Purpose Discovery Academy. We are committed not just to you finding your purpose, but also fulfilling it by getting paid for what you were made to do. So take advantage of this virtual boot camp and you will not regret it. Exceed as you proceed, and God bless you. I'll see you again next week with another edition of Head to Head, where we discuss matters that really